Hey, folks, it's Kary Oberbrunner, and I am so thrilled. What a crazy cool last 4 days. In fact, if you can share this with other people that maybe were part of the Igniting Souls conference or those that weren't, going to right now give you some updates, some exciting changes that are happening at Igniting Souls. And first of all, I woke up very early and I had a sense of like, oh my gosh, I wish it was um, the fifth day of Igniting Souls. In other words, yesterday we had a firing mastermind and it was unbelievable. I'm telling you, the people that were there are gold. And we just went through an entire day where we wrote down their struggles, challenges, and issues, and then we solved them all. And by the end of the day, no one wanted to leave. We had a great group prayer, and it was awesome. But let me give you a little bit of insight about what. Oh, yeah. And see, we have somebody said, yes, it was. So whoever you are, thanks for being there. But it was awesome. So here's a little bit more about Igniting Souls, because I know that clarity attracts and confusion repels. And some of you were at the Igniting Souls conference and you heard it all. Others of you had to leave like one session early, so you didn't hear the final session. But let me assure you what's staying the same and what's changing. So, first of all, what's staying the same is our four core values: growth minded grit, positive optimism, show up, filled up, and servant leadership. That's who we are. That will never change. Next, what's not going to change is the fact that we love our clients. We love you all. If you're our client, we love you. And we are committed to keep serving you. In fact, we believe that our publishing agency is going to even go to bigger levels. And what do I mean by that? Today, Tim Elmore, one of our own clients, is launching his book. He's with the John Maxwell team, and he spoke at our conference. Jeremy Kubicek is part of Wiley Publishing. He spoke at our conference. Katrina Ubell is part of Hachette. She spoke at our conference. What's happening is Igniting Souls is not going smaller. It's actually going bigger. And what I mean by that is that we're now able to pour into even authors from other publishing houses that are saying, what are you doing? It sounds amazing. We see the results. By the way, Rachel Peterson, we just helped her hit yesterday. Last week, we helped her hit USA Today. So she was on the USA Today bestseller list. John Gigante's book launches today. And from all intents and purposes, we think he might even hit Wall Street this week. So, folks, we are just absolutely excited. What about the people who don't have big tribes and big audiences? Do we still love and care for them? Absolutely. I'll tell you what, in one of our sessions, person after person came up. You remember that one? And they shared. We had Danielle share. She's now signing books at Kroger's all over the state. We had Angela Whitstack just receive a $50,000 donation. She's one of our clients, and she helps homeless shelters. Amazing stories of transformation. We had Kathy Studer stand up and talk about how she just started the first ever march against child abuse. And now she's doing it in 2 other states. Major stories of transformation, and it lights me up. It really does. So what's not changing is the fact that we love our people, we're serving our people. Now, here's what is going to change: the current Igniting Souls conference in its current form. In other words, we've noticed that post-COVID, the world has shifted. And it's foolish and a bad stewardship for us to say that it hasn't changed. You know, listen, I said in one of the sessions, this is a little strong language, but I said, change sucks. Okay. And I know that's a little bit strong for some people, but I don't like change. You know, I don't like the fact that we had a pandemic. I don't like the fact that the economy has shifted. But here's what I know: our core values won't shift, our faith in God won't shift. Okay. And these are the things that are built on a firm foundation. Those things don't shift. But what does change is the products and services that we offer at times, the events that we offer at times. Although we're not going to do Igniting Souls conference in its current form, what we are offering is firing workshops. And I'm not doing a firing mastermind this year, but what I am doing is 4 workshops, all based upon Web3. And Web3 is it's foolish for us to pretend it's not happening. I mean, how many of us could go back and say, you know what? I don't want the internet to happen and I'm going to fight it. I mean, none of us do that. We do online banking, we do online shopping. You can't stop technology. And so you either prepare for technology or you stick your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. And we're not going to do that. In fact, you heard me if you were at the Igniting Souls conference, we're actually going to step up IP protection for authors. We believe that Web3 allows this in a very cool way through blockchain technology and smart contracts. So again, we are preparing and planning for even bigger things in the publishing industry. In fact, our tagline is we publish and protect your IP and turn it into 18 streams of income. So I'm going to invite a few people to come be part of this with me, and we're just going to chat. We can ask questions. But again, before I invite them on, just hear me loud and clear that, yeah, Igniting Souls Conference is not going to be its old version where we have a huge author award ceremony and I invest tens, not even tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars in an event. Why? Because hybrid conferences are kind of the way of the future. You know, remember in 2019, we didn't have any virtual conference. That's why 600 people came. And that's why pre-COVID, we ran things the way we did. And then when COVID happens, you have to pivot, you have to shift. If you don't, you're going to be obsolete. So let these be lessons for all of us. But come on in, friends. I have some people I want to introduce you to. And you have, there you go. You have Sarah Grandstaff is our brand new integrator. And Sarah, we've had a fun day. We met with Jamie, our bookkeeper. We've met with some of our vendors. I introduced you to Kelly, my wife. You met her, came over to the house, and you and Kelly talked all about moms, and you showed off pictures of each other's kids and everything. And then Dana is one of our clients, and she's in a great spot where she's a client, but she's also, you've now joined the team too. Yeah. So you kind of have this unique view. Mm-hmm. But I'll just ask each of you, maybe I'll start with Sarah. Sarah, you just left a big corporate job of over 20 years. And I'm just going to say we're blessed that you chose to come over here. And I don't take that lightly. Whenever anyone says I'm hopping on and believing in your vision, I'm like, game on, let's go. But I would just say, like, what excites you about this new vision that we have?
Absolutely. I mean, you just talked a lot about changing and how the world is changing. And I think we are well positioned to really go into the future together with our clients. And that is a very exciting thing to be. You know, I think we're just, at such a time of change, but it's exciting to, be in a place where you have a plan and you're leading into the future versus playing catch up. So that's what excites me the most.
Awesome. Well, I know we even met today and we started mapping out our new initiatives.
Yes.
And we now have a patent for some of this advanced technology. We also spent time this morning with Tom, and Jim over at the International Center for Creativity.
Yes, which was an amazing location.
Oh my gosh, we got to give a shout out to them. But we now have this whole entrepreneurial center that they've been gracious enough to say, hey, you can rent from us. And Cedarville University actually uses that for their juniors and seniors. We're just at a very cool place. We're here in the boardroom right now with a huge whiteboard, and we're mapping out next steps. So Dana, I'll ask you this, my friend.
Yeah.
You were sitting there a year ago as just a client, mm-hmm. and a lot's happened in the last year. Yes. What do you think about all this vision with Igniting Souls? And again, you don't have a script, and I'm just asking you to share your heart. I mean, what do you think about the speakers that you heard this year? You heard a lot about Web3. You're geeking out on it, yes, from what I can tell. But what excites you about this new direction?
Well, last year we didn't know, we didn't see this coming. I mean, you probably did, but we didn't. And, you're on the front lines, and we've trusted you this far. I talked to people at the workshop, at the conference who said, I wasn't sure what to expect at this conference. You know, we knew it was going to be a little different. And frankly, I wasn't sure I wanted to be there. But I went, and we had that workshop where literally hands-on, you walked us through some of this awkward stuff we don't know how to do.
Yeah, like we got digital wallets. We sent you all crypto. You bought your first NFT.
We had to learn new language.
Yeah.
I mean, I started listening to your podcast, which if you haven't, you should start, because you'll start understanding what these words mean. And in every podcast, what I love, they say, we're not trying to convince you to like totally jump in and invest and do all that. It's just learn, just be open to learn. And so I started doing that. And when we went to conference, you start understanding what you're talking about, that it's not so scary. It's just a different way. And so then we went to conference and people left going, oh, I'm not so intimidated and afraid now, but I still don't quite get it, but I'm starting to track with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so now we're going in that direction, because the truth is we can all see things are changing. And thankfully you're in the front lines, and he's doing it, I feel, and I've heard it from other people, he's doing it because he does care. And so some other people aren't doing that, and we're going to get lost. So I'd rather track with somebody who cares, who could say, look, this is how you do it, and follow me. I mean, he's the one taking the risk, honestly, and he's then teaching us. And so you make it really easy for people who are not on the front lines to then follow you and take the steps.
And I loved in that Web3 workshop we had. I mean, there were people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I think even 80s.
Yes.
And again, you're right. I don't care if people use crypto or get NFTs or do. I'm just saying, look, folks, you log into Instagram, you now have them asking you to connect your digital wallet.
Yeah.
You opened a Discover card or something the other day, and they
had to activate the account, like reactivate it or something.
Yeah,
and
what
it just
happened?
Said, did you activate your digital wallet?
Yeah.
Then I sent you one. It was like a business school, and they talked about metaverse.
It was I think Wharton Business School is now having a class on how to prepare your business for the metaverse. Like, again, folks, I don't care if you say Kary's crazy, I'm not going to do this. I'm just saying, like, look, people today say, oh, if I would have been on the front lines when Amazon first started, or when Apple started, or if I would have bought my first Bitcoin, I would be so much better off today. What we don't realize is, like, we're right now at the cusp of the biggest revolution in human history. And especially for authors can be the ones that actually realize, hey, I have IP. It's called my book, intellectual property. How am I protecting it and leveraging it? So I'm excited. What I also like about conference too is it wasn't just one industry. No. We had a high school teacher talk about how he was preparing his students and the education. And then we had Giselle with the Retreat app and how we're the first ever. I mean, how cool is that? We're the first ever app in VR for personal growth.
I just think it's amazing. And, you know, the sky's the limit in terms of watching all of these things change and, you know, using them for good, right? Yeah. I think we have to go where the people are, and more people are going to be there using those apps. And so it's very cool that they're going in the personal development direction and that we're going to be there with them.
Absolutely. And, you know, I view, if people don't know, in December, we're launching a publishing course in virtual reality, and we've already filmed it. And it's so fun. I mean, you're literally walking down a path in a world, and it's tough to get both of you in at the same time. Right. But it's awesome because we're actually launching an app where if you're a fiction author, you go down this path and I teach you fiction and how I used Elixir Project. And then if you're a nonfiction author, you walk down here. And again, like the tools that we have today, you know, someone wrote me after the conference and it was a very prophetic email. And they're like, hey, Kary, listen, you're going into a new world and saying we need to bring the light and we need to bring the kingdom. And that's really what it is. And I get it. Listen, people have called me all kinds of names. You know, people think I'm crazy, but I don't care. You know, like it's okay. It's okay. Like anytime you do something new and innovative, absolutely, there's a risk, but I'm okay to take that. And I say, well, listen, let me waste the money. Let me be the one who experiments. And Suman was there, where he teaches people how to develop their personal AI, and it's saving authors time when they always get asked if they can have their brain picked by other people. Now they have an artificial intelligence that actually has all their data and content, and now someone 24/7 can just answer questions. So it's going to bring all kinds of stuff.
But the truth is, when each one of us who have been in the tribe for any time, when we joined whatever program it was, AE, we didn't know the words for publishing. We didn't know the words for writing.
It's always been a risk.
It's all like, what does all this stuff mean? And then as we were taught by you and took the next step, we learned that.
Yeah.
And it's the same, I feel, with this stuff. It's just language we don't quite know. It is going to change. And I think if they get the blockchain life book, that is really simple.
I'm glad you said that.
They can be part of the book launch team.
I forgot to mention that.
The more we hear it, the more we'll understand it.
Yeah,
because that's the way the world's going.
Yeah, in fact, thank you for saying that, because folks, for $9.99, by the way, Amazon's going to take a cut. I may be able to buy a Starbucks. Okay, maybe. So my goal is not profit motivated, but the point is this: that go to Amazon right now and get Blockchain Life, because what I do is I say, here's Web 1, here's Web 2, here's Web 3, and here's how the world shifted. And if we're intelligent and aware, we can actually get ahead of the curve and start strategizing with churches, government, all these things. So I love books. My heart for authors is actually increased. I just know that we're not going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in the Igniting Souls conference in its current form next year. And I know that was a sad thing. I know I grieved. I felt sad for one day, but then I realized, like, hey, we're doing some workshops this year on Web3. We're going to teach people how to create NFTs if they want around their book. Becky says she's waiting for it to show up in Kindle. It is in Kindle. It's just not on audio or ebook. But you brought up a good point. So if people get the Kindle today, they read it and post to Amazon review, whatever star they want. Okay, then if they go to theblockchainlife.io/team, we'll put that link in. So a lot of people are dropping in the Amazon links. Thank you. But if they go to theblockchainlife.io/team, then it teaches them that they get Amazon, they post a review, then they get an NFT, and then guess what? They get to be part of a launch team until December 6th, where we're going to give so much value.
And you can be learning more.
I love it. I love it.
Because the other thing you could have done was just keep doing these great, fun community conferences. But then how would people feel if we would then say, well, what are we going to do with this stuff? It's outdated.
Yeah.
Listen. It really is.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there. I'm not going to judge anybody, but there's a lot of people out there that are trying to pretend that Web3 isn't coming. And all I'm saying is, like, look at the big brands, because they're the ones that are able to have big money and see things faster. Look at remember I showed you, what's Barbie doing? What's Disney doing?
Right.
What's the Warrior Golden State basketball doing? Last spring, they raised so much money and so much engagement by having their own NFT launch related to the playoffs. So you start looking at all these, we even, at the conference, I shared that my co-author, Lee Richter, has even been contacted by the Vatican,
right? Because
the Vatican is launching an NFT project. And don't think of NFTs as like just art. What it is it's experiences. Right. So they're going to launch an NFT based on David, like the Michelangelo statue, where you get access to the Pope. I mean, crazy stuff. And then, we have this whole Easy IP thing that somebody talked about, which I'm not going to get into here because really it's too secret. Like, we shared it at the conference. It's coming. We have a patent to protect it, but we have investors circling and getting excited, and I'm like a little kid again. Like, I literally have to take melatonin to fall asleep. I'm so excited.
Well, and if we don't, as creators
Yeah.
of whatever kind, if we don't learn how to bring people into an experience,
Yeah.
which is what Web3, then we're going to be
Yeah.
outdated.
Yeah. And listen, I would say Web3 is even now. Like,
Yeah.
this is what people don't, they're like, well, I don't want to get into the metaverse. You're in the metaverse right now.
Mhm.
Like, people don't realize that, but like, Michelle is a little avatar right now. Here he is, right?
Yes.
I mean, that is the metaverse. It's just on the spectrum. And so some people think the metaverse is only when you use a goggle. Like, in Zoom, you can choose on your video, you can choose background, and I can put like augmented reality on my face, you know? So people need to realize, like, this isn't like one day you flip into Web3. This is a what do you call it? Like a drift, and we're on the cutting edge,
Right.
and it's only going to get more intense and exciting.
Absolutely.
So do I think that there's evil in the metaverse and Web3? Sure. You know, there's evil on the internet. In fact, we had people like trying to show crazy stuff, and we had to block him even on this, you know? So just first of all, I'll just say this as we close. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for allowing us to be clear. And again, if you want to see where we're going in the next 8 weeks, go to theblockchainlife.io. I'm glad you said listen to the free 52 episodes on the podcast, but then get the book. It's $9.99, only Kindle right now if you want to be part of that early group.
Yeah.
And Jeff is watching us, airport security will have to wait for this. So,
Awesome.
hey, Jeff, listen, here, announce this, Jeff. I felt like I missed the group so much this morning when I woke up. So Jeffrey Kramer, I'm going to do a final fire ring Zoom call here before November 1. So I'll send out a thing, but just because, I miss everybody and I love you guys. So thanks for being here, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining our team.
Yeah.
Dana, thanks for being here as well. And we'll see you all soon. Take care.